Good morning and welcome to the fourth episode of the Edutalks series. I'm Brooke Carlisle, AV Business Development Manager at Westcoast, and today we're here at our showroom to showcase the Samsung Flip.
Westcoast has been our partner for a very long time, distributing our monitor range over the years. In 2020, we appointed them as our large format display partner as well as our LED partner. As many of you are probably aware, the Flip has been around for a few years. We have taken massive strides into the education market. To help us understand what our proposition looks like into that education space, I will introduce Pete, who is our education consultant and BDM at Samsung.
Hi, my name is Peter Bailey. I'm the BDM and education consultant at Samsung Electronics. And what I'd like to go through with you today is how this fits into the education market. So, I'd like to introduce you to the Flip. The Flip is a fantastic piece of equipment that can be used in all forms, whether it's business to business or whether it's education. And what we actually have is we have two arrows that actually point to how you use things. What we have here is we have the import, and we also have how we export directly from the board itself. And down at the very bottom here, we actually have the taskbar, which actually shows you things like colours, scroll, and how we actually do screen capture, etc. on that one. At the top here, we have the way that we import. I'd like to go through how we import directly from mobiles, from laptops, from Apple, from iPads, from USBs, and what the rest of these actually mean. On the mobile side of it, it actually shows you how to go to your connection guide. And if I actually show you very quickly on my mobile how easy it is to connect, we have a Samsung mobile here. This could work with Apple or with any other form of Android device that has Miracast. All we do is we go to Smart View or Miracast here, press and go, and bingo. There is actually a mobile. Now, because this is in a portrait style, this doesn't look particularly right. So if we rotate the Flip into its portrait and actually make it go full screen, you now actually have the full unit. And what we can do here is we can actually use the whole lot to annotate over. As you probably noticed, I've actually got full control over my mobile here. So let's say we open up the maps, and hopefully it should show us where we are today, which it does. And what we can now do here is we can actually annotate directly over live maps, or we can annotate over video, we can annotate over PowerPoint, pretty much anything we can annotate over. What we do is we just push the little button here. This all sits very much down at the bottom, which we can just pick up and move. And what we do is we press the annotation there. You'll see that blue go across. It tells you that the note on is there, and we can actually annotate directly at the top. So next we'll move on to USBs. Now I've got a USB plugged into the back of this one. So all we do is we actually touch the USB. And as you can actually see here, we've got PDFs and we've got what are called the IWB files, which is the interactive whiteboard files that this reads. But it also reads PDF, it also reads PowerPoint as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the internet. The internet does exactly what it says. It actually takes you directly into the internet. And we have the capability here of being able to actually annotate directly over the internet. So we've actually got the full control capability here. And to actually do any annotations again over the top of it, we actually bring up the annotation bar, which sits here. Now you'll see the blue screen actually go up, and you can do the annotations sitting like so. Now we move on to Samsung Workspace. If we click on Samsung Workspace, we've got some preloaded apps already. So we have Remote PC, we have Office 365. Now with Office 365, if you've actually got a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse actually connected to the board, you can actually do everything that you can do on your PC here. Without actually having to have your laptop or have your any form of device actually attached to it. We have VMware Horizon as well, and we can save everything back to the network drive. What we can do here also is we can add the URLs to different websites that are actually used in the education space. So for example, if you're using it for, I don't know, let's say history, you could add a history URL in here as well, and that would just take you directly to it. And what I'll do is I'll actually show you how to add more into the URLs here. So what we've now got is, you can see here we've only got a few. I'm actually going to add them in now. So we go into the settings side of it, and this will all be pre-done before we go in. So we use the defaults because we haven't changed it on this. And if I go to here, edit Samsung Workspace, I can add them in. So for example, we'll put just Google in here. And then we add the URL. And save it. So what we'll now see is, if I actually close this and close it down, when we go back into Samsung Workspace, we've actually got Google sitting here. And if I just click on Google, it will take me directly to Google at that particular point. But you can add your own URLs at that particular point, so you've got the option of being able to do all sorts. Just to go on to the export. So we've now done all the imports, we've done the exports, and I'll actually go through the exports now. We have an email server. We have a standard email server, so this would be flip at meeting room 1 or flip at classroom 3. We also have what's called an LDAP server on here as well, which means it's a local directory, so it will be sent from peterbailey@wherever.com. We have a print server. We can send it directly to a print server as well. So everything that you do on here, you can actually send to a print server. You can send it to an email server. You can save it back to your USB. You can save it to your network drive, or you can actually bring it to your mobile. So if you actually have the mobile in front, you go onto the Flip app, which is downloadable from all of the different stores that are available. Scan that QR code, and that QR code drag directly into your mobile in PDF format and IWB format, because then it can read both. So when you actually import it directly back into here, you can actually have both of them on the screen. If that doesn't work, we have a Wi-Fi here. The board actually produces its own Wi-Fi network. This is constantly changing Wi-Fi network and the passcode. So all you do is you go onto your Wi-Fi name here, you type in your password, and it will instantly put it back into your mobile at that particular point, or tablet. It's your choice. So what we have here is we also have the screen share. And the screen share allows you to share exactly what's going on this board directly to other Samsung screens within the classroom, if it's a very, very large classroom, or within a lecture theatre. And so what we're going to do is we're actually just going to turn it on. We go to the wireless, and what it will now do is it will search for, as you can see, it picked up quite a few of them. What we'll do is we'll share it with a particular screen, and now what it will do is it will connect to the Samsung Smart Signage screen, and now we should have it over on one of the screens that we've got at the back. So now what we're going to go through is we're going to go through screen share. Screen share actually allows us to show exactly what's going on this particular screen onto a secondary screen wirelessly. And what we do is we actually connect it via a direct peer-to-peer on that. And it can be used in classrooms, in lecture theatres. The distance is around about 10 meters, for it to actually be connected, but that's very dependent on classroom size and the amount of metal, etc. that is in the building. So what we'll do is we'll actually connect here. It should find some screens, which is what it's going to do. We're going to connect to this particular screen, and we're actually going to share it. It takes a second or so to actually double connect to it, and bingo, there we are. So what we're now going to do is we're actually just going to show you how screen share works. So we've got up here, we've got our export button here, and we're going to go to screen share. We're going to go to wireless, and it's now looking for other Samsung screens. So it's found two of them that we've got actually turned on at the moment. I'm going to choose this QVR series and hit share. And what then, as soon as it connects directly to the other screen, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw on here. So I'm just going to write hello on here, and what you should see is it appearing on the other screen. So we have two forms of what we can actually do on this board. This is the reason why it's so good into the education market. We've obviously got the handwriting experience here. We actually have a highlighter as well that can actually go over the top of it. And you've also got the eraser, which is your hand. But we have sitting down here also something called art mode. Now, unfortunately, I'm not a good artist, so you'll have to bear with me on this. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it into an art mode here. As you can see, it's already come up with the colour palette down at the very bottom. And I'm going to use a paintbrush. This is a Chinese calligraphy paintbrush that I use. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually just draw on here. Now, if we have red, if we just do a massive block of red and we add yellow to it, which is what I'm going to do, we get orange. And as you can see, it's actually starting to get orange, but if I bring it out, it doesn't. We have a facility here also to dry the paint, which means that we won't be able to connect or we won't be able to mix any more colours on this particular one. So I'm actually going to go and dry the paint now, and then what I can do is I can actually just go straight over the top of it. So it's almost like a digital overlay over another piece there. We have the eraser. So again, just use your hands to actually get rid of whatever you don't want on that. And then we also have a colour fader down at the very bottom. So yellow is much more faded at that point compared to what it is sitting there. I don't know whether you can actually see it on the screen, but you've actually got the striation lines of an oil painting here. So what we have here is this is just a blank canvas that we've actually got. This has multiple roles on it. So down here is a very small little grab bar. So I can actually move this, and this is between page 1 and page 2. So if I actually draw a line between page 1 and page 2, I can actually keep that moving around and I can just keep it going. So we're going to look at page 3 in a minute as well, which is here. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. And the reason why I'm showing you these sort of zigzag lines on here is the fact that you can now see down here at the very bottom, page 1, page 2, page 3. This is almost like a continual roll of paper. You can just keep on going and keep on going on that. And you can move them around and you can delete as well. So if we now delete page 3, which is what I'm going to do, it looks very strange in a second, because what it will do is it'll actually merge page 2 and page 1 together, as you can see here. So, sitting down the very bottom here, we've actually got the annotation there. So I'm going to draw a P over the top here, and then what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to screen capture this. So what I'm going to do is screen capture. We've added the area that I actually wanted to screen capture here. I can cut it, I can send it off to a URL. I've also got a screen capture area. I can email it, I can send it to a principal. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to screen capture it. So now what it does is it actually captures it as a .png file. Again, if I wanted to recapture this, I can recapture. Or what I can actually do is I can embed this back in here as well. So this is the embedding tool, and it's now re-embedded back into the main board itself. I'm just going to miss these next 2 out here for a reason, because this is much more, it's more complicated, it's more for the IT people. But in here we've also got something that for the first time ever recognised as my handwriting. My handwriting is terrible. We've got, so I'm going to use Google again, and I'm just going to press search, and it will instantly take you to Google on that. There is actually a keyboard functionality on there as well, so if you don't want to use handwriting recognition there, you can actually use the keyboard facility. And it's very good, it's excellent for young children that are actually learning to form their letters properly as well, so that they'll be able to write on that, and then it transmits to where it's supposed to go. So lastly but not leastly, I'm going to go on to the 3 bars. Now the 3 bars are probably key to everything. New means we get a new page. So I will show you what I mean. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to P again. I'm now going to save it, and it will sit back on the memory of the board in this case, because we've got it connected to nothing. Yeah, and then all I do is I click new, and bingo, it will actually, it will go over to the new page. So, going a little bit further on here, we've got the roller browser. The roller browser shows you exactly what you've been doing. So, if I click on the roller browser, you can actually see the P that I created earlier and a few other bits and pieces on here. Now from here, what we can do is we can select, and let's choose view. So we're going to choose those view. Yeah, we can either delete them or we can export them. Now we can export them, we can email them directly from here. So we've got the facility to be able to do that all at the end of one day. Or what we can do is we can save them to the USB flash drive that I actually have back. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to save it to the USB flash drive, and what will happen is those three will now actually appear on my flash drive as a PDF file and a IWV file. So now I've just written hello up actually onto the board. There is a reason for this, is because now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lock it away. So for example, if you finished a class or you finished a lecture at that particular point and you don't want anybody to actually see what you've been writing, you can actually lock this so that no one can actually see it. And how we do that is we actually do it here in the roll lock. So it will ask you for a password. I'm just going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will ask me for the same again, 4, 5, 6. And I click done. So it's now locked away successfully. So if I actually go into the roller browser, what you'll now see is this. Yeah, and you can't actually see physically what's underneath it. So I just tap on it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and bingo, it appears. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into the forms section, and you can add forms here. So as you can see, we've added a particular form in here. You can add them in their JPEGs that you can actually add in. So for example, let's use the monthly and apply, and it will produce the actual grid here. So take Monday in there. And you can add more and more of your grids within there. You could add football pictures if you're going to use it for sport. You can add calendars like we've got here, but for yearly planning. And lastly but not leastly on this, if somebody says to you they can't use the board, there is actually it's inbuilt into here. What you'll find is all you do is you just keep on flicking through it, and it shows you exactly what I've been through. There is everything, tells you how you email, tells you your print set actually on here, tells you how to screen capture, or if you're really lazy like I am, you can actually scan that QR code and it takes you to a very, very good Samsung website that actually shows you how this is actually being utilised. So for all inquiries with regards to the Samsung Flip, whether it be for demo purposes or whether you would like to purchase one, please contact av@westcoast.co.uk.
For anything further, please head over to our Engage portal, or alternatively, contact your Samsung account manager.